Hello, we're at the Huawei Mobile Broadband Forum in Dubai, which has been going on for the last 2 days. Here with my colleague Neil Sharp. My name is Peter Richardson. We've been kind of entertained and informed by Huawei with what they're doing. Their vision is 5.5G, which is similar but not the same as 5G advanced, but there's a lot of similarities. So Neil, maybe we can start with that. They're talking about 5.5G. How is this different from 5G advanced?
I believe most of the elements are based on the 3GPP release 18, which is going to be mostly 5G advanced defined next year. So the basic focus for Huawei with 5.5G is to bring more new technologies like 5G RedCap or massive IoT, combine multiple spectrum frequency bands together, drive spectrum efficiency. Also some features like we saw with respect to network level automation, right, for RAN intelligence. I think some of the features are proprietary, some of the features are based on 3GPP spectrum. At the same time, we also saw a glimpse of different features like passive IoT, which is still there's a little bit distant, the release 20, but it's been starting, some elements of those are started being researched from release 18 onwards. So we're seeing some of these elements within 5.5G what Huawei defines as a next step, as an evolution to 5G.
I think one of the other sort of key themes that they've been talking a lot about is green technology. So green, I think, the operating expenditure of operators is kind of a key performance indicator for them, particularly in the last few years with energy prices being so high. So Huawei's been focusing a lot here on optimizing the power efficiency of networks, and that comes in a number of different flavors, right? So both kind of maximizing performance per watt of energy, but also using the network intelligently to kind of power down. So they have this idea of 0 bit, 0 watt. So, if there's no traffic, switch the network off effectively.
And when we asked them, they said that they're doing it very dynamically. It's not they're shutting it off for the entire period, but if based on the TTI, the transit time interval. So if there is a byte or some request coming, it quickly turns up, and that is how they designed the power amplifier to not sleep completely, but be a little bit dormant in a sense, right? So that was pretty clever in how they are implementing 0 bit 0 watt across the portfolio, and we have seen it across the RAN, the radio resource units, the 128T radio which they launched, which is 128T, 128R, which is the industry first. At the same time, they are also bringing 0 bit 0 watt to the LampSite, which is the indoor 5G. We talked a lot about indoor 5G over here with Huawei, right? So,
yeah, indoor 5G is very interesting. There was a very good forum where we had operators who've been trying to implement this both on LTE and into 5G, with some real experiences of sometimes how challenging it is to do indoor cellular when you're trying to negotiate with landlords, for example, to get access to and say a shopping mall or something like that, where you need to cut into the ceiling and also find access to outside to do the GPS synchronization across the network, which is sometimes really challenging. So a lot of interesting learnings and use cases from what I tried to implement indoor, but the fact is, right, that 80% of mobile traffic originates from an indoor setting. So if you're reliant on an outdoor network essentially penetrating into a building, sometimes a suboptimal experience. So actually having an indoor base station, and we're in a conference center here, and the local operator has a private network with some of these LampSites installed, and we've seen speeds of I think you saw
2 Gbps,
on the downlink, and I think
Uplink was like 200, 100, 150.
Like was 100, 115 megabits per second update. So pretty solid speeds. And that's, I guess, on the current generation rather than the new generation is coming. So, yeah, and staying on the green theme, I think one of the other things which Huawei's always been very good at is, it's not just about kind of power, but also size and weight of their AAUs, their antenna systems. So much smaller volume, lower weight, which means it's the install is much easier for operators, or companies that are doing the network build.
So a lot of elements in play. There's an interesting data point where they said by reducing the size of 88R, where they're bundling all the few FDD band support in one particular antenna element, so not antenna element but RRU rather. So they're saving almost $2,000 per site, right, per radio resource unit. So when you have thousands of sites or hundreds of thousands of sites, if you're a bigger operator in China or in India, then you're going to save millions of dollars per month in OPEX. So that was pretty interesting. With respect to the indoor 5G, there was a demo of 5.5G as well indoor, where the new LampSite X actually includes all the bands, right, from sub 1 gigahertz to millimeter wave, and leveraging millimeter wave, they are looking at indoor throughputs up to like 10 Gbps and upload up to 1 Gbps. And that is the main theme of 5.5G, where they are planning to push the upload speeds to 1 Gbps. And we saw a lot of use cases around it with respect to live broadcasting and so forth, right? So I think that was something really interesting with respect to balancing out high throughputs and at the same time saving on cost and size, as Peter said.
I think one of the other themes that's come through, and no surprise to anyone, is artificial intelligence and the use of generative AI as well, which, we're seeing kind of real use cases with some operators here that are already implementing artificial general intelligence in their own networks and in fact in their own workflows. So that's been really interesting. But I think Huawei are going to be using a lot of AI and already have been to automate the network. So we're kind of moving in a similar way to kind of the levels in the automotive industry. There's a kind of a commonly used framework for understanding kind of automation in networks. So they're kind of right around kind of level 2, level 3 at the moment, but moving towards kind of level 4 in a couple of years, right?
Yeah, level 4 in automation and level 3 in intelligence, and then they move to level 4 intelligence in a couple of years. I think where they're trying to optimize the entire network and at the same time not only saving power with that iPower use case, but at the same time they're also unlocking newer use cases like secured uplink and guaranteeing the QoS on the uplink for live broadcasters and so forth, as well as key events, key events, where they're guaranteeing as well as looking at all the different events which are going to happen. And for example, Asia Games, so before the event they will try to simulate what is happening in terms of, or what would happen in terms of different spikes in network traffic or any other events, and they could predict based on that in future, right? And try to build an algorithm which will cater to those events, the events.
So creating essentially a digital twin of the network around the event, and then running different scenarios on how that event would play out relative to the network, so they can foresee potential pinch points in the network during an event and optimize for that to kind of maximize the user experience at a big event. So a lot of interesting use cases. Yeah, I think we just sort of highlighted a few here, but now any calls to wrap up, Neil, or what you?
Yeah, one thing which was also hot was 5G rate cap.
Right.
So 5G rate cap is considered to be taking 5G to almost massive IoT level. Though the speeds are still not at the NB IoT levels, which are sub KBs, but it's more on Cat 4, Cat 6 LTE level. But that will open up a lot of new use cases from industrial point of view, as well as from FWA in markets where there is a digital divide and 10 to 100 Mbps is enough in terms of speeds. So we saw a lot of demos of 5G red cap use cases, but at the same time we also saw few routers like 5G red cap CPs as well, which will drive a lot of different new use cases from machine vision capturing or MWA, as well as a couple of other use cases which do not require heavy bandwidth. Other than that, I think there's a lot to process, right from how 5G, AI, at the same time cloud all merged together. A lot of operators showcased how they are implementing these intersection of technologies. At the same time, what level of automation they are using, different new LLM models they are using across their enterprise, right, and across their companies, as well as for external customers. So a lot of interesting things what are happening with merging of all these three technologies.
Yeah. And just to wrap up, one interesting technology that Huawei's been showcasing over the last couple of days, which is maybe a bit unusual. You would think of Huawei as glassless 3D. So they've had some interesting demonstrations of how to implement that. I mean, using their partners, rather than Huawei directly, although they do have some use cases for example, backseat entertainment in cars using light gel technology, which is not 3D, but in the same sort of general area. So yeah, some interesting use cases. I'm still not convinced about 3D, but they can have another crack at it.
Yeah, exactly. Great.
All right. So that's Peter and Neil signing out from Dubai. And this year's Huawei's Mobile Broadband Forum. So
thank you.
Tune in next time. Thanks. Bye now.
Thank you.